Everybody, this is Zach Hurst. The topic I chose to explore a little bit further was gifted students and perfectionism. I found this topic interesting because I have a student that I just found out struggles with it, and I want to explore it a little bit more. As teachers, we need to help shape a strong framework for social emotional health for our students. Because gifted students demonstrate greater maturity than their peers, it can make them susceptible to certain social emotional issues. These issues can be heightened awareness, anxiety, perfectionism, stress, issues with their peer relationships, concerns with their identity, as well as how they fit in like their classroom, their society in general. Um, this is something that, and I chose perfectionism because it seemed to be one that's pretty prevalent with a lot of students, and we need as teachers to be able to identify what good and negative perfectionism is. The possible causes for perfectionism, this is inconclusive, is a desire to please others, early successes without any failures at a young age, and a difficulty setting realistic goals. As teachers, we need to remember that all perfectionism is not bad. Good perfectionism for our students is doing the best they can with the time and tools they have, and then moving on. Uh, it's setting high personal standards, and it also is managing perfectionistic behaviors so they do not interfere with daily life. After we know what good perfectionism is, we need to look at what constitutes unhealthy perfectionism in our students. Unhealthy perfectionism in our students is when they emphasize or reward performance over other aspects of their life, when they perceive that their work is never good enough, um, that continual dissatisfaction about their work leads to depression, anxiety, and other physical symptoms. Um, it's when they feel guilty if they're not engaged in meaningful work at all times, as well as having a compulsive drive to achieve, where their self value is based on what they produce and achieve. I saw this in that student I mentioned before. When we were at the parent teacher conferences, she was telling, his mom was telling us that he was so dissatisfied with his work and wanted to do so well that he was staying up till about 3 o'clock in the morning doing his homework. And what ended up happening is it ended up hurting his grades. Like, he is a straight A student, but because of his perfectionism, he wasn't getting enough sleep, and so certain grades started to slide. And that's why it's important for us teachers to see and kind of be preemptive and at least know and see perfectionism and try to uh, intervene when it's necessary as early as possible. Here's some tips for teachers in spotting, perfectionism. Things that they need to think about. You need to watch for signs of unhealthy perfectionism, intervene when necessary. You need to model a healthy approach and be aware of your own predisposition towards compulsive excellence. You need to refrain from setting high, non-negotiable standards, as well as emphasize effort, not the end result. That's exactly what we've been learning in our previous books, more specifically Vito and Tharp. Do not withhold support or encouragement if goals are not met. Doing so would just be counterproductive because they just be harder on themselves. Teach gifted students to manage their perfectionism and focus on positive talk. Gifted students with perfectionism, because they are totally dissatisfied with everything they do and base their worth on their work, they denigrate themselves and just beat on themselves. So they need to work on having this mental talk and this positive talk to themselves, verbally, outwardly verbal as well as inwardly, intrinsically, about themselves, so it promotes a positive self-efficacy as well as a positive mental concept. That's it. I hope it wasn't too boring. I hope it was informative. Thank you.